The Supreme Court ruling that it's unconstitutional for law enforcement to place a GPS tracking device without a warrant. And now being called into question is whether a warrant should be required to use location tracking information on cell phones. Joining us now, criminal defense attorney and Fox News legal analyst Arthur Aidala. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. So look, let's go back a couple of hundred years. This is one of the fundamental things we fought for in the Revolutionary War, was to have freedom. Heather, I don't want freedom from you and Ainsley. I want freedom from the government. And freedom from the government means I don't want the government knowing what I'm doing, when I'm doing it, who I'm doing with, et cetera, et cetera. And so a big case, and technology has drastically changed.
Yeah, no cell phones during the Revolutionary War.
Exactly. No Easy Pass, no credit cards, no Metro cards.
Yeah.
I mean, these are big law enforcement tools to fighting crime. And when they're necessary, we're very happy to have them there. But we need to have some control over when the government could be looking into where Heather is and what time she's at the diner and what time she goes to the beauty salon, et cetera, et cetera. And what we're really asking for is that a judge who's not supposed to be on the side of law enforcement or the side of the citizens, he or she is supposed to be neutral to determine when is it appropriate to find out when is Heather in the diner and when is Heather in the beauty parlor, as my mom used to say back in the day.
But law enforcement says that will slow them down.
Yeah, and you know what? It will slow them down to a certain degree. But there are provisions in the law that provide for that. There are things called exigent circumstances. So if somebody thought, if they had probable cause to believe, Heather, that God forbid you kidnapped a missing child, under those circumstances, they wouldn't have to go get a warrant. They would say, it's so, there's the emergency doctrine.
Right.
They need to do this right now. It's an emergency. There's a big difference between that and, we think Heather may be involved in a drug ring that every Saturday night goes to a nightclub and sells drugs. Under those circumstances, go to a judge.
That's going on, right? There are different law enforcement agencies doing that.
Yes, and they're tracking you without telling a judge first. I want to make, and I'm going to make a joke, but it's not a joke. Someone like myself who's bald, there are I get misidentified all the time for other bald guys.
Okay.
And so why should my phone be tracked? Why should they know what I'm doing? Because there's another bald dude who's been identified as a guy who's dealing drugs or stealing cars or burning up Fiskars or whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
So someone should go before a judge and show them some evidence why they should follow Arthur Aidala. Not that just he's another bald guy who may be dealing drugs in a nightclub, but these are the specific reasons why. And this is it's an issue we need to fight for. The Supreme Court, I was in the courtroom, heard the arguments. They said law enforcement cannot take a device, Heather, put it on your car and use it to follow you.
All right, well, thank you very much. Our bald guy, Arthur Aidala, joining us.
The one and only.
The one and
the
only,
dome.
of course. We appreciate it. Thank you very much.